All right, here's another episode of Let's Talk Sports with As Blue as It Gets. You can introduce yourself.
Hey everybody, remember from the last time? It's here, Blue as it gets, or the fandom with the fandom.
All right, today we're going to talk about AFC West and NFC West. All right, AFC West consists of obviously the champions, Kansas City Chiefs, the Raiders, the Broncos, and the Chargers. What do you see coming out of that division this year going into this season?
Well, predictions right now, just talk about the winners of the division. We're not doing records, right? So right now, man, you can't beat the champs. Got to automatically just put them up there at least two or more. So they're at number one right now. So I probably have KC coming out of the AFC West right now as the number one team. Think about it with Mahomes, man. They got some more talent. They lost Tyreek a couple years ago, but now they kind of rejuvenated that with Xavier Worthy. Had a little footage out there, him Holmes is doing it. So KC number one. Chargers now with Herbert bringing in, new coach in Harborough. Have to see what the quarterback can make of it. If Harborough's changeup doesn't really affect the team too much. It's a fight for number two right now for me. It might change later on, but right now I'm gonna give the Chargers the number two deal there in the AFC West. Now we got Denver coming in at third for me, man. New
Third.
quarterback, Bo Nix. Yeah, man, third coming in. Bo Nix. Back with Sean, not back with, but with Sean Payton. Okay, that's the thing, because Bo Nix game and Sean Payton should mesh very, very well. And we're going to see if that's on some Tua and McDaniels type stuff, just like what it might be. Plus, Bo Nix has his college number one wide receiver and Troy Franklin coming from Oregon with him. Denver was smart, came back and got him later in the round, brought them right back. That's it right there for number three. And then Las Vegas, man, Antonio Pierce, head coach, OG man, but I can't go ahead and push him up just because of that. Raiders going through some changes, number four.
I think this is the year the Chargers need to take another step. They got the coach they wanted. They re-signed Herbert. This is the time that Herbert and the team needs to take another step. They need to go further. They need to actually challenge the Chiefs because, to me, Chargers have all the talent, but they cannot seem to put it together. They lose a lot of close games, 3-point games, 5-point games, 7-point games, single-score games, and it's like, how? You're in the position to win these games, whether you're on offense, when in the position to have better coaching. They had solid coaching, and it seems like they always miss something. So now they can't blame anything. They got the coach they wanted. They re-signed Herbert. He didn't leave. So they have everything they need to take on the champs. Can they do it is the question. Can they take another step? I still have the Chiefs winning the division. I do not have the Denver Broncos third. Denver Broncos are in chaos. Sean Payton is chaotic. Any guy who throws his quarterback, who he needs, under the bus mid-season, after defending them during the offseason, is someone that's chaotic. And they are financially in a tough position to rebuild anyway, because of the way they structured the Russell Wilson trade debacle to Pittsburgh. So I don't know if they'll be able to even win enough games to compete. I think they're going to be in the basement for a long time. Sean Payton is going to get a couple of $100 million and leave again. So we'll see.
You got them four. So you got what is your official division rankings then?
I have the Chiefs, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. I think the Raiders will be better this year because they'll have a full year of the coaching staff and his leadership under their belt. I think they overplayed their hand last year. Like, they were so upset with the way the coaching ended and everybody wrote them off that they kind of played well just emotionally at the end of the season. But now you'll be able to have a whole off season and a full leadership with the coaching and stuff like that. So we'll see. But I definitely don't have anybody in the last place besides the Broncos. The Broncos are a mess.
Man.
They're a mess.
Okay.
They traded everybody the way to get
I'm
Russell
not saying
Wilson,
this guy's going to
and then
be,
threw the man under the bus.
the new thing, but if this is a quarterback that Peyton would have liked to have, I think, compared to who they had last year with Russ coming, old man Russ. So yeah, I feel you on all that though. We'll see, man. It's the AFC West knocked out.
All right, NFC West.
Yeah.
We got the 49ers. We got the Rams. We got Seahawks and the Cardinals. Who do you have? How do you have that division shaking out?
Well, this one's a little more, I think, more randomness in it, a little more, more opportunity for change as far as compared to what last year was. But the 49ers, I think I have number one right now, as a division, but maybe not that many games more to take the division type situation for them right now. Because they're going to be close followed by the Rams, in my opinion. Now, the 49ers do have Purdy. They are bringing back, right now at least, as it looks like, most of their core from Debo, Kittle, the running game, Christian McCaffrey, of course. Ayuk is that question. If, he's going to sign that franchise tag, I think he might have had it at this point or something like that. But even if not, they got Ricky Purcell out of Florida, play for the Gators, to rejuvenate the position. So if Ayuk is a missing factor this year because of the contract situation, I think the 49ers will still be able to keep up to where they were last year. So 49ers number one. Then the Rams here. Stafford is getting old, but Stafford is still Stafford in many ways when it comes to playing the game itself. He's never had to be a mobile quarterback, a dynamic quarterback like that. He's more in the pocket, in the system type. And that's going to play up for him with Sam Laporta out there, of course. I'm sorry, I'm not Sam Laporta. I think about the tight end. The Rams and Matt Stafford because it wasn't Detroit. With Puka Nacua back again, of course, and then Cooper Kupp. Those two, that dynamic duel. And then the big pickup for me, for the Rams right now, is a big shout out to Blake Corum from Michigan, who played with J.J. McCarthy this past year, man. A real baller, man. Undersized, perhaps, for the position at the running back, but plays well above it. Big touchdown, short yardage guy in that red zone. And I think that's going to be a nice factor for the Rams as well. Keep them in second. Moving on to the Cardinals now. We know they brought in Marvin Harrison Jr. From Ohio State, come in and help Kyler Murray come back off all of his injuries and his down play to try to get back on that rage for him. And this is where it gets hazy now, because even with the Rams, it could be bouncing around here with that. But the Cardinals situation, I think, is real shaky at them putting him at third, but I'm going to put him at third right now because of the experience with the quarterback and his still somewhat unknown full potential in a way, if you understand what I'm saying. He hasn't really had that season that really blew him out of where his draft position was taken at, and maybe in compared to some of the people he came in with, like Herbert and whoever else around that time. And so, that follows up, man, with the Seahawks at fourth here. Geno, not trying to write him off, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't need man writing me letters back and shit like that. So with Geno, we're gonna give him the respect that he is, man. And right now with them, it's just if they're what they're doing right now is getting a little stale. But it should be changing because Pete Carroll is no longer there. So now new head coach, might be some changes, might be rough changes as they transition from Geno. And that's why I have Seahawks at fourth right now until they really know what they're doing at the quarterback position.
I got the Seahawks in first place. The quarterback is the NFL is a quarterback-driven league, right? I don't think Kyler. I think sometimes the Cardinals have been trying to spend a lot of money to try to get Kyler to work out, and I think the problem is Kyler. The problem is not offensive line. It's not the running game. It's not the wide receivers. It's the Kyler. It just doesn't work. So there's nothing wrong with just saying it doesn't work. And I think a lot of issues is not just he hasn't grown as a quarterback. They've given him the contracts. They've given him the support. They've given him the coaches. He hasn't grown. So, a lot of that times that they're close in games, he'll just run around and keep them in close games, but they end up losing because you still have to pass the ball. It's a passing league, and you have to throw the ball down the field. You can run as much as you want, but if it's 3rd and 12 and you give me 10 yards on a running game, you're getting me nowhere. So I still have the Cardinals in last place, but I think the Seahawks will rebound. I have them in first place. Eventually, the 49ers have to take a back seat. I don't know how the 49ers have been able to succeed this long. If you really look at it, they've taken 3 totally different teams to the Super Bowl, whether it's Colin Kaepernick, Brock Purdy, the other guy who was injured, Alex Smith. I mean, they've taken 3 totally different style quarterbacks, totally different style offensives to the Super Bowl. That's very hard to do in this short amount of time. and it hasn't worked. In the sense of you haven't won a Super Bowl. You have to win one. Don't matter how many times you go, but if you go 1, 3, 10, 20 times, you just got to win one. And they haven't been able to crack that code. I think the league has figured out Brock Purdy. He was a surprise at first. And now I think now people understand he's a system guy, and he won't win the game for you, but he will lose the game for you. So in the fourth quarter, if it's close, you rattle him a little bit, you might get a sack, you might get a turnover, might get a fumble, might get a misread, an overthrow, underthrow. So I think it's a time that the 49ers take a backseat. So I have the Seahawks or the Rams in first place. I definitely have the Cardinals in last place. But I think it's a quarterback league, so I can't trust Kyler. I think the system quarterback
I
thing
think
works in the regular season. It doesn't work in the playoffs, and it definitely doesn't work in the Super Bowl.
yes, yeah. I don't necessarily disagree with your take on your position on Kyler right now, because that's a lot. I mean, the way you're talking about Kyler is how we talk about Daniel on the Giants, man, Daniel Jones, with getting him, you know, a lot of help and like the blocking, offensive line and the sack rate that he's had throughout a lot of his career and stuff. We've been trying to fix that situation by bringing in, you know, offensive linemen and stuff like that. And if a talent is bad, a talent doesn't play well, whatever, that's one thing. But the GM at a point becomes that the GM is bringing in bad guys, or is it more than just the guys who are up front? That is the issue right now. The Giants are trying to work through. So I feel through a lot of that, and now they got him a wide receiver to try to make it work again. You know what I mean? I don't know if Carlos had that much of an extension of that favor to try to get it done. But you know,
I
they
don't, I
have to
don't,
play.
I
Quarterbacks
really
have to
don't
play.
like Kyler's playing style. I mean, you look at what
Yeah, I
Lamar
understand.
came in the league, and he was a running style quarterback, mainly running, running, running. But he took his game and elevated it, even with subpar wide receivers. We've been talking about Lamar Jackson for years with subpar talent around him. The Ravens put different guys around him later on, you know, with OBJ, but a lot of those guys are still getting hurt. Older wide receivers, they had a great running game at one time, but when it comes to a top tier wide receiver, Lamar Jackson has not had that. But he still
Yeah,
was able to win games with subpar wide receivers. At some point, you have to show your talent, even when you don't have the best. Y'all can't
yeah,
get
I
the
get you
best.
there. I get you there. I think with the little situation with Lamar and being in Baltimore and stuff, the Kyler is this in Arizona is that Baltimore, man, is a better organization in football wise. You know what I'm saying? So
Support their players.
Baltimore is not gonna. They might have a questionable offense or kind of broken looking offense, like they always seem to have like just a broken looking offense that's effective, but looks broken sometimes. Their defense is always going to be like a thing. You know what I'm saying? Defense is always going to be a thing for them. And Harbaugh being the coach that he is always going to be a thing for them. Arizona going through, you know, when Kyler came in, and the coach's name escapes me right now, but going from him and switching that up is a little different. And I like how you talked about San Fran as well, with them having so many different quarterbacks or seemingly system different quarterbacks, but still having
Oh,
success. I think with San Fran, man, they have that in-house built system within their scouting, maybe probably ownership in a lot of ways too, how they could see and construct their team. Because I don't know how different, you know, um, a Colin Kaepernick is really from Purdy, as far as the ceiling that you might think of their talents. You know what I'm saying? Because Kaepernick was cool and everything, but Kaepernick had some limited parts to his game when it came to passing. You know what I mean? And
and
his
he took
running style at the time was really effective.
the league by storm those years he was playing. I remember those option plays. They cut that out. What they changed the rules where you couldn't hit the quarterback without the ball. Now, if they don't have the ball, you can still hit them, even though it's a running play with an option. So that kind of messed up his longevity and players like him longevity, because even though you don't have the ball, you're not supposed to hit the quarterback. That would be a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, yeah.
Now they changed that rule because of the Kaepernick, because he was killing the Packers for them 2 games. They
He
were
was effective. Yeah. It's a shame what happens to players sometimes. RG3s and
yeah. So
all types, man. It's a shame what happens to them
was
sometimes. Yeah.
was in there, but we brought up Lamar. Lamar has been getting a lot of flack the last couple of days when it comes to ranking on different quarterback lists, whether it's ESPN or obviously anonymous players, anonymous GMs and organizations have spoken out about who is the top quarterback in the league. And John Harbaugh came to defend his quarterback and basically was like, he wants Lamar to be the best quarterback ever. And he believes he is one of the best, if not the best ever. How do you feel about not just his comments, but some of the backlash Lamar has been receiving last week and a half, and since the ESPN put out a top 10 quarterback list?
Yeah, I guess it's probably last bit I'm gonna do on the division, all that stuff. But I think it's warranted in some ways, only because in the playoffs is where Lamar's legacy is really needing to be sealed up, and and where needs to be pronounced at now in comparison to somebody like Patrick Mahomes, because when that conversation comes between them, it's hard to go too far into Lamar, even though with his excellent play, when it comes to the championship runs, and even he losing in the Super Bowl, you're still going through, you're a conference champion before you even get to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? So getting to the Super Bowl is something now that Lamar needs to really, and the Baltimore Ravens need to really seal up to make that legacy come true, where he can be a greatest of all time, because he's a top player of all time. He's a top talent of all time that we've seen as far as the running style quarterback like that, a la Michael Vick.
I think one of the biggest things with Lamar Jackson is I think we've never seen someone like this. He's able to not just run the ball at a high level, but he's able to pass the ball at a high level with
Higher level than Michael Vick. So it's even now it's harder to read. It's now setting a new thing of what a Michael Vick type QB is.
And he's doing this with subpar talent. I still don't think he has the talent that he should have. Imagine if he had Tyreek Hill on the team, or any one of the top five, Diggs, any one of the top five, CeeDee Lamb, wide receivers on the team, how that would change the offense. But also, playoffs is where you make the money, but most importantly, he has to stay healthy. The last couple of years, he's been able to stay healthy and put on a couple of pounds and stay healthy and get in the gym. But the first couple of years matter too, when he was missing 5 games, 3 games, 6 games because of his playing style. And now he changed his playing style, so now he's healthy and he'll be able to last longer. So I don't think the criticism is warranted, because we've only had a small window of him being healthy enough for the whole season, maybe 2 or 3 seasons, right? So let's see where it goes next season. Let's see where it goes 2 seasons. But also keep in mind, Patrick Mahomes is beating everybody. He's not just beating Lamar. We got to talk about, if we go criticize.
Well, that's why, it's not like even when I was saying it. Yeah, even when I was saying the stuff I was saying, that's why I was saying not to knock Lamar like that, really, because he's clearly playing much better than a lot of quarterbacks. And like, even when his contract discussion, man, in comparison to DJ and shit, man, it was very, very funny and filled with all types of character type takes around why Lamar couldn't possibly get the contract that he was warranting at the time with his play, when even getting DJ signed was the whole thing about negotiating with a quarterback only playing so well, and hard negotiating at some points. So yeah, I definitely feel you there. Definitely.
I think Lamar definitely deserves every contract he got. He's earned it. But also keep in mind, he's done it with a type of class, because the quarterback is going to take the wins and the losses, but he was taking it and not saying anything. Other quarterbacks taking it, they throw their teammates under the bus, or they respond to a fan and respond to a personality, a sportscaster, whatever. He's been able to take it and say, whatever. The game is the game. I'm playing the right way. I'm playing it within my system. But most importantly, these are my teammates and these are guys I'm playing with. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I've watched some of them games where the guys drop the ball. In their hands, drop the ball. And these are, subpar wide receivers compared to other wide receiver units. But at the end of the day, if you're going to criticize Lamar Jackson, you got to criticize Josh Allen. You got to criticize every quarterback that Patrick Mahomes is mowing down. This man got 2-3 championships, and every big game they win it. So I'm like, he's mowing quarterbacks down. Y'all don't say nothing about
he tossing that ball to Xavier Worthy like he don't care. He about to keep it up. I'm telling you.
All we have to say is Patrick Mahomes' league right now until he give it up or someone beat him. He the man. So everyone else is just after that. So Lamar is doing his thing. He's staying healthy, which is the key. And he's putting up great numbers and he's winning games. But we cannot punish him for living in the Patrick Mahomes era. He just gonna have to suck. Take second or third place right now.
Look it up, yeah.
All right, last topic. Well, second to last topic. I watched Team USA struggle the last couple of games. They were down like 15 most of the game against South Sudan, and they won by 1.
Yeah.
LeBron layup. And then today, they were struggling against Germany, close game throughout. And then LeBron went crazy last 3-4 minutes, and they were able to separate themselves and get a win. Are you concerned with Team USA close games going into the Olympics?
Oh man, for me, as a just right now on the sideline kind of viewer of the whole thing. This is just going through the motions right now until whatever serious stuff begins. Just stay healthy, people. Please. But I did watch a little bit of the Germany game, and I did see LeBron, come through, clutch it up for the team. You said it in the South Sudanese game, that they won by 1. On LeBron there. So some players are there. Of course, it's LeBron that's there right now. And yeah, can LeBron carry this whole thing through to the end? That's a tough ask right now at the stage of his career. So, but there's no way to just sit back and just think the other 12, 11 other players on the roster, man, are just going to not play like the players they are in the league. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to see that to say. So the concerns about it right now are minimal, nominal. I'll say nominal. So regular levels of concern, nominal.
Curry played well. So they were going against Dennis Schroeder. He's the main point guard against for Germany. To me, he was the reason they lost the game. He went like 0 for 7 in the fourth quarter. It was ridiculous. He was just jacking shots left and right. It was nuts.
Oh boy, man.
But I think LeBron talked about it going to the locker room after the South Sudan win and said, we want the games to be close. We want the game. We want a challenge. We want to be challenged. And Steve Kerr said, the competition level has increased internationally, so you're not going to see the 40-point game blowouts that we used to see back in the day, the 30-point game blowouts and stuff like that. He said that the competition is increased, which I agree with that.
Yeah,
I think I watched the game and it seems like they just it's exhibition. Now I understand, maybe it's exhibition. Maybe you don't want to go as hard as you, but I'm like, if you play 2 quarters of intense basketball, you may be up 20. You may be able to coach third and fourth quarter, put your backups in to get LeBron and Curry, the guys that you're going to need in the later in the tournament, some rest. But when you playing lackadaisical ball, they had a zillion turnovers today. They had a whole bunch of turnovers in the Sudan game. Just bad defensive outcomes in the Sudan game. It's every game is totally different from turnovers.
yeah,
getting back.
That's a little bit of
our own. It's concerning. It should be concerned.
It's a little bit of our own hubris, though, as the American players, is that we can think we can just go in there and just hoorah, America. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And it's not always like that for these guys, because now, like you're saying, with the league being so expansive as far as the talent spread, being outside of the U.S. And having those opportunities to see those guys, and I'm actually playing. And now when we go to the Olympic game, these guys are playing on teams that are getting championships, like your Jokic or Giannis, etc. Players like that. So when we go against them in these Olympic settings, man, and we see our U.S. teams losing all the time, like, well, what's going on? Are we supposed to have? I was like, oh yeah, Giannis don't play for us. He up in there in Greece playing for the Greek side of the game, or you know what I'm saying? Oh, Schroeder. Oh, where man, Schroeder really come through? Oh, I forgot he played for Germany. You know what I'm saying? It's even players like that sometimes. So yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, it's definitely
the concern, at least. That's why I say nominal. At this point, with the league the way it is, it's nominal.
I do believe what Steve Kerr said, that the talent is definitely better, but also, like you brought up a good point, a lot of NBA players are playing for international teams. So some of that talent level is taken from the NBA and definitely transitioning to these international players. So it's easier to play with someone who has that high level of skill. the highest level.
Jokic is the right thing too. Jokic, not Johnny. Jokic. Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to watch them. But I just think these close games are cool. And LeBron is right. You want to have close games. You want to, you want to be competitive. You want to be challenged, but you don't want to be foolish. And one bad call, you lose a game.
It's great. Yeah.
You don't want to. You won't want to risk that. You want to. I'm not saying you got to win by 50 every game, but if you play hard for 2 quarters, even a quarter, three quarters, or 2 quarters and a half, you don't have to rely on a 4-year-old LeBron to try to win a game on a layup, try to win a game on a block, try to win a game. They had Curry out there playing.
That's what other players. That's what I'm saying with
charges.
Anthony Davis, Joel Embiid. Like I saw Embiid was looking sloppy out there from what I was seeing some stuff. So yeah, I understand what you mean. Like it shouldn't. Oh, I shouldn't be hearing James' name. James, what's up? The speed block. James from three. Like he hit a couple threes in this Germany game and closed it out. It's like James from three, James inside. He's a man. Like, yeah, he's a man. He shouldn't have to be the man, or but yeah, he is the man.
He might have to carry the team until they get serious, and I don't, or at least till they get able to get a system. And keep in mind, these guys are practicing, but they all play for different leagues. They all play for different systems, so they are really trying to learn on the fly. So we don't know how many practices they have, and they are not healthy. So guys are in and out the lineup and stuff like that, getting less minutes, more minutes. So eventually,
Curry's kind of reserve themselves too. You want them to reserve themselves a little bit into when stuff kicks off. So nominal. That's why I say concerned nominal.
All right. Last part. You want to talk about the Hard Knocks? The Hard Knocks episode for this week, I believe, comes on tomorrow.
Yeah, that's on tomorrow, man. Just a quick recap for people. Might have been interested in the last take we did here. Yeah, pretty much as you were reading it from last episode, Daniel Jones doesn't have much time left with the New York Giants if Daniel Jones doesn't play very good football. Pretty much it, man. We're about to get a real look at the incoming rookies like Caleb maybe, but more probably on Jaden Daniels and their pursuit of him, and also Drake May, possible trade that we're going to look at with the New England Patriots there. Yeah, so it's going to be rough. I think as far as Saquon's situation from the last time, it's pretty much closed out for us. We have closure. We are satisfied with the outcome. It don't matter because it's in the past. These episodes I'm talking about, if you talk about like it just happened. No, it happened months ago. This is giving us the office inside look at all the wheeling and dealing that goes on in the leagues for these teams. So if you have access to it, definitely check out the Giants because it might not be long before your team is on there getting exposed for all the types of clownery that go on behind the doors, man. And for real. So, but it's been interesting. It's been a good look. It's been produced well. Audio, video quality is top notch. And that's how HBO rolls and Hard Knocks, the narration keeps it. So definitely check it out. Definitely check it out. If there's anything to take from it, man, it's that QBs get paid too much sometimes. And this is case number 0. Why that's a thing.
I want to see who's going to be the first quarterback to take the Tom Brady deal and take a whole bunch of pay cuts to build a team around them. To say I'm going to get paid in year 10. I don't think another quarterback's going to be able to last durable.
To be that quarterback, you have to be playing at a certain level to where you can say, okay, this guy would get so much more, as opposed to, okay, this guy is up next. He's already supposed to get this more, just by market value. So him just saying, oh, I'm taking a hit, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not. It's hard to identify that right now because of the pattern they're using on these quarterback pays. And some other places like, to reference them, FS1 with Shady McCoy, Joy Reid from her time, Acho, and a whole bunch of, I forget the name, James Jones from Green Bay Packers. They're on there discussing these things right now, discussing how the quarterback value has started to balloon and set teams back, man, when they blow them up like they do and just think they're gonna float up and full of helium, man, and they get popped.
And win with just one quarterback. You gotta have a body, you gotta have talent around them. You gotta have talent not just on the offensive side. You gotta have talent on defensive time. You gotta have a solid kicker. You gotta have solid coaching. It's
Yeah,
great to
take
have
53, man.
sell jerseys,
Take 53.
but you gotta
For
have
real.
it's 52 other players on the team that you gotta have not just healthy, but in good position that they can execute when their time's called. But anyway, that's this week's episode of Let's Talk Sports with Mr. As Blue as It Gets. See you all soon. Peace.
Yeah, yeah.